Once you hear this story, your perception of reality will never be the same. The Quantico FBI Academy was a place of order, discipline, and relentless training. For Cadet Eleanor Ellie Carter, it was the culmination of years of hard work and determination, but nothing could have prepared her for the assignment she was about to receive. Her mentor, Special Agent Daniel Graves, called her into his office one evening, his face grim. "We've got a situation," he said, sliding a file across the desk. "A serial killer we're calling the Skin Collector. He's taken 5 victims in the last 3 months, each one skinned post-mortem. We need to catch him before he strikes again." Ellie's stomach churned as she flipped through the file. The crime scene photos were gruesome, the victims' faces frozen in expressions of sheer terror. "What do you need from me?" she asked, her voice steady despite the knot in her chest. Graves leaned forward, his eyes piercing. "We need you to consult with someone, a man who understands killers like this better than anyone. But he's difficult. You'll need to be careful." That's how Ellie found herself standing outside Cell Block 9 of the Baltimore State Penitentiary for the criminally insane, her heart pounding as the guards led her down a dimly lit corridor. The man she was here to see was infamous. Dr. Julian Voss, a former psychiatrist turned cannibalistic serial killer known as the Gourmet. Voss had been incarcerated for over a decade, his crimes the stuff of nightmares. But he was also brilliant, with a deep understanding of the criminal mind. The cell door creaked open, and Ellie stepped inside. Voss sat at a small table, his hands cuffed in front of him. He was tall and gaunt, his sharp features framed by silver hair. His eyes, a cold, calculating blue, locked onto hers as she sat down. "Cadet Carter," he said, his voice smooth and almost amused. "To what do I owe the pleasure?" Ellie forced herself to meet his gaze. "We need your help. There's a killer out there, and we think you might be able to give us some insight." Voss leaned back, a faint smile playing on his lips. "Ah, the Skin Collector. I've read about him. Fascinating work, really. So artistic." His tone made Ellie's skin crawl, but she kept her composure. "We need to stop him," she said, "and you're going to help us." Over the next few days, Ellie returned to the prison, each meeting with Voss more unsettling than the last. He spoke in riddles, his words laced with dark humor and veiled threats. But slowly, he began to provide insights, psychological profiles, possible motives, even predictions about the killer's next move. Ellie relayed the information to Graves, and the team began to close in on the Skin Collector. But as the investigation progressed, Ellie began to notice something strange. The details Voss provided were too precise, too specific. It was as if he knew more than he was letting on. One night, after a particularly intense session, Ellie confronted him. "How do you know all this?" she demanded. "Are you working with him?" Voss chuckled, a low, menacing sound. "Oh, my dear Ellie, you're asking the wrong questions. The real question is, why does he do it? What drives a man to strip away the very thing that makes us human?" His eyes gleamed with a dark intensity. "Perhaps you should ask yourself what you're willing to do to stop him." Ellie's unease grew as the team closed in on the Skin Collector's suspected location, an abandoned slaughterhouse on the outskirts of Baltimore. The night of the raid, Ellie stayed behind at the prison, her mind racing. She couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong, and then it hit her. Voss had been manipulating them all along. She rushed back to his cell, her heart pounding. "You knew," she said, her voice trembling with anger. "You knew where he was, because you've been communicating with him. This whole time, you've been playing us." Voss smiled, a slow, predatory grin. "Very good, Cadet Carter. But you're too late. The game is already in motion." The radio on Ellie's belt crackled to life, and Graves's voice came through, frantic. "Ellie, it's a trap. The place is rigged. Get out of there." The line went dead, and Ellie's blood ran cold. She turned to Voss, her hands clenched into fists. "What did you do?" Voss leaned forward, his eyes gleaming with malice. "I gave him what he wanted, worthy opponent. Now the hunt begins." Ellie stumbled out of the prison, her mind reeling. The slaughterhouse was in flames by the time she arrived. The team's cars abandoned. There was no sign of Graves or the others, only a single message scrawled in blood on the wall. "The skin is just the beginning." The case was never solved. The Skin Collector vanished, leaving behind a trail of questions and a body count that continued to rise. Ellie left the FBI, haunted by the events of that night. But sometimes, in the quiet hours before dawn, she would wake to the sound of whispers, the faint scent of blood in the air. She would wonder if it was over. Hit subscribe and don't dare miss what's coming next. Or the next scream you hear might be your own.